Alright. Banjo. 3 hours. Let's go. Starting now.
Unwrap and ungrind. When Kinder Bueno meets your coffee, life gets bueno.
Hey there folks, my name is Eli Gilbert and this is the 30 Days of Banjo. This is my absolute beginner's course for your first 30 days playing 3-finger bluegrass banjo. So what you heard me play at the beginning of this video, that's what we're going to learn in this course, along with a couple other songs. And I don't mean a beginner version of what I just played, I mean exactly what I just played. We're going to start from the beginning, we're going to start Hey there folks, my name is Eli Gilbert and this is the 30 Days of Banjo. This is my absolute beginner's course for your first 30 days playing 3-finger bluegrass banjo. So what you heard me play at the beginning of this video, that's what we're going to learn in this course, along with a couple other songs. And I don't mean a beginner version of what I just played, I mean exactly what I just played. We're going to start from the beginning, we're going to start really simple, but we're going to play the real stuff by the end of this. I know firsthand that learning something new, especially a new instrument, can be really challenging. It's hard to know where to start, it's hard to know what to practice, it can even be hard to know how to practice. So let's do this instead. For the next 30 days, I'm going to guide you through the steps to learn exactly what I just played, as well as a couple other tunes, and prepare you to continue learning using in-person lessons or other lessons online. That doesn't mean that you're going to know everything in 30 days, but it does mean that by the end of the 30 days, you're going to be prepared to learn from just about any resource that you can find. Think of it like taking a banjo lesson every day, except I'm going to give you just the amount that I think you can handle each day, so that it's never really too challenging, but it never really gets stale. You're going to learn something new every day, but I think you're going to be able to keep up. So let's get started right now. Let's first make sure that you're in the right place. What I teach is 3-finger bluegrass banjo in the style of Earl Scruggs. If you don't know what that means, that's totally fine. Maybe you just got a banjo and you're just excited to learn. Well, as don't know what that means, that's totally fine. Maybe you just got a banjo and you're just excited to learn. Well, as it turns out, there's a couple different types of banjos and there's a couple different ways of playing banjo. And depending on which of those you have or are interested in, it might be incompatible with what I teach. So let's start with the number of strings that your banjo has. My banjo has 5 strings, and if your banjo has 5 strings, then everything I teach you will be great. However, if your banjo has 4 strings, then the banjo you have is what is known as a tenor banjo or a plectrum banjo, and none of what I teach is going to be accessible on that instrument. It's got a different tuning and it's used for different styles of music. If that's what you have, or the music that you're interested in playing, then that's great. These lessons are not going to work for you, but down in the description of this video you'll find some links to some good resources for that style on that banjo. Now, if you do have a 5-string banjo, then there's still one major distinction that we need to make in terms of playing style. I play 3-finger bluegrass banjo, which means that I use these 3 fingers and I have finger picks on each one, and I play in the style that I did at the beginning of this video. But there's an entire other school of playing that comes before all of that 3-finger playing, before Earl Scruggs pioneered that style. And it's often referred to as old-time banjo or clawhammer banjo. And let's just look at an example of what that looks and sounds like. Now that's just one example of the many different styles that exist within the old-time and clawhammer world, but it's still pretty significantly different than the 3-finger style. So if that appeals to you, then these are probably not the lessons for you, but again, in the description there are going to be some resources for learning that style of banjo. Okay, so if you have a 5-string banjo and yours is referred to all of that 3-finger playing, before Earl Scruggs pioneered that style, and it's often referred to as old-time banjo or clawhammer banjo, and let's just look at an example of what that looks and sounds like. Now that's just one example of the many different styles that exist within the old-time and clawhammer world, but it's still pretty significantly different than the 3-finger style. So if that appeals to you, then these are probably not the lessons for you, but again, in the description there are going to
Sweetwater is your one.
Now that's just one example.
I like that way better.
Stop shop for all your band and orchestra gear needs. With the widest selection of instruments, equipment, and accessories.
Set up in your home position with your thumb resting gently on the 5th string. Lift your hand straight out of the banjo. Adjust the gap between your striking finger and thumb to accommodate the 1st and 2nd strings. Plunge into the string, striking the 1st with the back of your fingernail. Simultaneous to this downstroke, your thumb will land on and gently compress the 2nd string. Sound the 2nd string with your thumb on the upstroke. Adjust the gap between the striking finger and the thumb to accommodate the 1st and 5th strings. Plunge into the banjo, hitting the 1st string on the downstroke and the 5th string on the upstroke. Repeat the process. And that's how to play drop thumb in 60 seconds. This is our home position with our set up in your home position with your thumb resting gently on the 5th string. Lift your hand straight out of the banjo. Adjust the gap between your striking finger and thumb to accommodate the 1st and 2nd strings. Plunge into the string, striking the 1st with the back of your fingernail. Simultaneous to this downstroke, your thumb will land on and gently compress the 2nd string. Sound the 2nd string with your thumb on the upstroke. Adjust the gap between the striking finger and the thumb to accommodate the 1st and 5th strings. Plunge into the banjo, hitting the 1st string on the downstroke and the 5th string on the upstroke. Repeat the process. Set up in your home position with your thumb resting gently on the 5th string. Lift your hand straight out of the banjo. Adjust the gap between your striking finger and thumb to accommodate the 1st and 2nd strings. Plunge into the string, striking the 1st with the back of your fingernail. Plunge into the string, striking the 1st with the back of your fingernail. Adjust the gap between your striking finger and thumb to accommodate the 1st and 2nd strings. Plunge into the string, striking the 1st with the back of your fingernail. Simultaneous to this downstroke, your thumb will land on and gently compress the 2nd string. Sound the 2nd string with your thumb on the upstroke. Adjust the gap between the striking finger and the thumb to accommodate the 1st and 5th strings. Plunge into the banjo, hitting the 1st string on the downstroke and the 5th string on the upstroke. Repeat the process. Hitting the 1st string on the downstroke and the 5th string on the upstroke. Repeat.
I need to dig
Oh no, this is
to do this, and this, and this.
climb.
This is our home position with our thumb gently resting on the 5th string. To prepare for your 1st downstroke, lift your hand straight off of the banjo. Now plunge down into the 1st string with the back of your fingernail. Simultaneous to your downstroke, your thumb will land and gently compress the 5th string. It's this 5th string compression that allows you to grab the 5th string with the pad of your thumb and sound it on the upstroke. Most of the energy comes from the wrist in the knocking motion. Now work those inner strings. And that's how you play clawhammer banjo in 60 seconds.
I'm not learning that in 60 seconds.
We'll start the video in just a sec. Let me know where everybody's tuning in from. Fair here, get rid of this hammer banjo. Be taking a look at the where you're tuning in. Hello. Hey everybody. Hello, let me know in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. Tonight we are going to take a look, or today, I don't know where you're tuning in from, probably many different time zones. We are going to be taking a look at the basic beginning mechanics of clawhammer banjo. This is an opportunity for you guys to ask questions and sort of we can discuss things in depth. I've got some tablature. I've got some diagrams. Got this diagram. That is not a toe. That's a fingernail. We'll get to that in a minute. Good. Pick is good. Awesome. I gotta adjust some things on my end. Just catching up on chat. York, Maine. We got Philadelphia. We've got Charlotte, North Carolina. Australia, can anybody beat Australia? That's a long way from me. Awesome. San Francisco, Ontario, Canada, Davenport, Iowa. Wow, wow, wow. New Jersey, yes. Idaho, Washington, Colorado, Oregon, Troy, New York. Hey, I went to college up in Saratoga Springs, so that upstate New York area was my stomping grounds for a while. I grew up in Vermont, so right across the state, kind of, from Troy. We got Asheville, North Carolina. Nice, home of some of the finest music in the world, in my opinion. Dublin, Ireland. Nice. Illinois, Southeast Virginia, on the Bay. Beautiful. Welcome, everybody. My name is Tom Collins. I'm a banjo player, and I am here to help you do some banjo basics. Just easy banjo beginning stuff. I want to get you guys some help. I want to show you some basic mechanics. I've got some tablature that we can work through. And 5 minutes past, that's enough to get banjo players here. I think everybody's here. Let's see, 41 people. Nice. Welcome. New Mexico. Susan's from New Mexico. So this is very much I'm going to demo some stuff for you so you can see it and we can think about it. I also want you to think about your questions. I'm going to leave a whole bunch of time towards the end. Heck, if you've got questions, just jump in there. I'm tracking the questions and I'm going to be demoing some stuff and hopefully we can get you squared away. So think about your questions. I'm going to grab a banjo. I happen to have one around here somewhere. Here's one. Ohio, British Columbia. Nancy says she keeps losing my sound. Is everybody having that problem? If everybody's having that problem, please let me know. Nancy, if it's just you, I don't know. That's a weird one. Keep me posted. Let me know how that goes. This will be left online. So if you need to revisit this and watch it again, and I suspect that'll be useful for many of you. Hopefully the sound will be cool when you rewatch it. I don't know about that. Let's just see. Please let me know if you guys can hear my audio. Yeah, and we'll go from there. A lot of people sound is okay for them. Nancy, it might be on your end. Let me know if it persists. Get close to your internet gateway. If you're far away from your router, that can impact you if you're on a wireless device. Okay, good. I'm monitoring it on my end, and it looks okay. All right. First thing I want to talk to you guys about. I'm tuned to G, by the way.
Just ask this guy for technical issues. Probably help me.
Tuned to G. I'm going to be putting tab up on the screen. Tablature is also available. It's on my Patreon site, but I've made it free for everybody. And you can always download it after the fact. I'm going to leave it up there. I'm typing my Patreon information in the chat. You do not need to be a subscriber to get tab for this free stream. Luke! How are you, Luke? All right. First thing I want to talk to you guys about. I'm tuned to G, by the way. Tuned to G. I'm going to be putting tab up on the screen. Tablature is also available. It's on my Patreon site, but I've made it free for everybody. And you can always download it after the fact. I'm going to leave it up there on device. Okay, good. I'm monitoring it on my end, and it looks okay. A weird one. Keep me posted. Let me know if it persists. Get close to your internet gateway. If you're far away from your router, that can impact you if you're on a wireless device. Okay, good. I'm monitoring it on my end, and it looks okay. All right. First thing I want to talk to you guys about. I'm tuned to G, by the way. Tuned to G. I'm going to be putting tab up on the screen. Tablature is also available. It's on my Patreon site, but I've made it free for everybody. And
banjo. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Here we go. Now it's tuned to... Okay. Come on, scoot your boat. Scoot your boat.
You can always download it after the fact. I'm going to leave it up there. I'm typing my Patreon information in the chat. You do not need to be a subscriber to get tabbed for this free stream. Luke! How are you, Luke? Tune to G. Alright, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about, because I think it's so important and easily overlooked, is the way you are physically capturing the instrument. I remember when I was first learning, I felt like I was always chasing the banjo. The banjo was kind of wandering around in my lap, and I was holding on for dear life. If you feel like that, it means that your hold on the instrument needs some improvement. So I just want to go over those basics right now. For me, usually, most of the time, hey Lisa, most of the time my banjo is in my lap, between my knees, more or less, in the middle of my lap. I'm backing up here, I may go out of focus, hope that's okay. Between my knees, I'm a right-hander. My left leg, that means my non-striking hand, my fretting hand foot is often up a little bit. Like right now I'm on my tiptoe. I'll put it on a box. If I'm sitting, especially in the beginning, it's super helpful to have the neck side leg up a little bit because, look, banjos are naturally neck heavy, right? They want to go this way. So if I just let that go, it's going to fall that way. So you've got to counteract that by a couple of methods. One of my favorite methods is to get the neck side leg up a little bit off the ground. The other thing I do, well, I'll get to the other thing I do in a minute because I'll give you the side profile here in a bit. Let's talk about striking arm. This is a big part of the way I capture the instrument. So I'm over the instrument. I'm locking in with my forearm on the rim of the banjo, and I like to think of this rim portion as a fulcrum because I'm using it to rock my motion in and out of the instrument. That's one of my most positive points of contact on the banjo. In my lap, forearm on the fulcrum, and I'm pulling in and down lightly. Don't do this too hard. Don't make yourself miserable. Pull it in, put a little bit of weight, let gravity kind of hold you down on the rim of the banjo. And then I also lean the banjo into my ribs. So I'm sort of capturing it with 3 points of contact. It looks like Nancy's audio got fixed. Awesome, Nancy. I'm so happy. That's good. So, to back up, look, 3 points of contact. Legs, forearm on fulcrum, and ribs. Ribs. I know, it's weird. But I'm using my ribs to capture it. And then, I'm at a point, you remember, I'm elevating that left foot just a bit. Now I'm at a point where if I start to generate some patterns with my right hand, the banjo is locked. It doesn't need any support from my left hand, nothing. It's locked. One of the things in private lessons I do is when a player is playing, I watch their headstock. Because if the headstock is looking like this when they're playing, I see this with beginners all the time. It's like this it's like this crazy little dance that the headstock is doing. It's a nice little tip for you. If you look up at that headstock and it's like all over the place, you know that you've got a problem down here that you need to sort. Always looking for upstream solutions to downstream problems. You don't want the headstock moving, right? Because if you've got a moving banjo, it's like archery or something. If your or golf, if the hole moves, it makes a very difficult sport even more difficult. Same for banjo. This becomes a really hard sport if this guy is all over the map. So lock in. And the last little bit that is really easy not to sort of overlook is, or to misinterpret on a camera. This camera is giving you a two-dimensional image of me. It looks like this banjo is square to me and the floor and my body and all that. It's not. And here's what you can't see in a video very often. I kick the instrument out and back. So if it were square, it would look like this. I don't do that. I toe it forward on my left leg, neck side leg, towing it forward. I open it back towards me and a little bit up to the ceiling and out. This does a couple things. First of all, it's more ergonomic, like it's not some square thing that I have to kind of reach over and contend with. It's tilted back towards me, which makes this arm nice and it's just so comfortable. It also lets all that tone free out of the instrument. If I'm blocking it with my body, that my body's going to swallow the tone. Sometimes that can be a good thing if your banjo is too ringy or if you're getting a lot of overtones. Maybe you want that. But I like to toe it out, to open that banjo up to the room and get a more full sound. So that's how I interact with the banjo with the right hand. The left hand, my fretting hand, some of you guys may be lefties, righties, it doesn't matter, whatever your fretting hand is, my fretting hand doesn't do much other than fret. It's not really there to hold the instrument. This kind of looks like a holder of some kind. It's not. It's just there to fret. That's its pretty much its sole job. I will say that it is, because I'm I'm very active in my hold, it does serve as a source of just making things a little bit still and a little bit more contained. So I will say that, but I'm not holding the instrument. I'm certainly not holding it off.
Dad, come here for a second. Yeah. Okay, I will, but come here for a second.
Careful.
We're back with the banjo type shit. Sorry, I had to take a little break because I was doing other stuff. But doesn't mean I quit. I'm not quitting yet.
No, it'll sink. No, they got a bit. You don't want to be doing that. You want this banjo to be locked in. Another little tip: use the brackets. These brackets are awesome. They not only look super cool, but they help you. You can kind of use them to lock into your leg. So use those brackets as a sort of source of friction against the constant roll that your banjo is going to want to do. Oh wow! This is an interesting comment that I have to. That's awesome. Left prosthetic leg, just the stool. It helps already. That is awesome. That is awesome. Glad that helps you. If you could make some holder, there are some things that you can put over your leg to help grip. The classical guitars use them. I don't use those, but they're out there. Anyway, you shouldn't need a product unless something's up with your ability to hold the banjo. You probably shouldn't need a product. Some people I've taught over the years do find that a strap helps. For me, a strap is for when I stand with the banjo and not when I'm sitting. I want my hold to be good enough. I think of it like a weld, like I'm welding to the instrument. If that helps you, I've done in the past. I've done a bit of clay pigeon shooting, and they teach you the weld on the shotgun makes a huge difference in how you get your pigeons, the little clay discs. And I think of that when I'm playing banjo a little bit, like just getting a weld on the instrument so that it feels like it's not going anywhere. Awesome, William. Yeah, this little thing can really help you. These little things add up, guys, and that's why this live stream, this is why it's here for you, is these little things make such a big difference. If you're fighting at this stage, if you can't hold the banjo well, we've got to figure out a way to hold it, that you can hold it so it doesn't move. Otherwise, you're making the mountain unnecessarily steep. Now, the last thing I'll say about the hold, and the last thing I'll say about the hold is there are many ways to do this right. This is the way that I've discovered that works really well for me, and I want to just pass that on to you. But everybody's built a little bit differently. Some of us different like arms, different like legs. Some of us have prosthetics that we have to use and work around, and whatever method you can come up with that gives you the weld and gives you comfort is fine. So if you find that for whatever reason your physiological makeup requires you to do something different, there are lots and lots of ways to do this correctly. So think your way through the problem. The goal is you want a banjo that is still and doesn't require fretting hand support. That's our goal. And these are all the variables that I use to achieve that goal, plus the little added kick out for tone and comfort. So think about the ways you hold and see if you can adjust. All right, let's talk about the right hand mechanics of clawhammer banjo. So we'll talk more about the left hand in a bit, but I want to talk about what's going on with this guy, or the striking hand. For me, clawhammer banjo is first and foremost percussion. Percussion. It's a drum. It's a drum. It even looks like a drum, right? Like, that's totally a drum. I've had snare drums that look very similar to that. I can just get rid of the neck, and it almost looks like I'm holding a snare drum. And it's not just because I'm a former drummer. I really feel like my best mechanics were awakened when I stopped thinking about this instrument as a stringed instrument and started thinking about it as an instrument to strike, to hit. Banjo becomes really easy when you let the velocity of your hand sail through the strings and strike the strings. I wish you could feel it. The goal for you as beginners would be to have that feeling every once in a while. Hopefully you'll get a glimpse of that every couple of practice sessions. It'll feel easy. It's those moments that are very precious, because it means that your technique and all your mechanics are just lining up perfectly. As beginners, your job is to seek out those moments where it's just like, oh, wait a minute, I think that's it. And then you'll lose it, and you'll sleep on it, and you'll have to come back to it at another time. Just like me, just like I did in the beginning. This took me a while to learn too. So you're looking for these moments of ease. Ease. So we're gonna let that clawhammer stroke be easy. I want my favorite analogy for clawhammer, the one that I think you can walk away with tonight and really think about over the next couple weeks, is knocking on a door. So if we imagine a door here, I've got a door right here. This is my door. If we've got a door, yeah, you can see that, right? So I've got a flat surface of a door, and if I walk up to that door, I knock straight in. The wrist kind of breaks into that door a little bit. It breaks, and then I extract straight out. The wrist kind of flows with me. I'm not angrily knocking. This is not an angry knock. This is a gentle, pleasant knock. So I've got my door. I throw in, let the wrist break. Then I back it off. The wrist flops open. And again, send it. Send it. There is no lateral movement to a knock. I wouldn't knock like this. There's no rotational movement to a knock. That would be strange to knock on a door like this. That would feel a little bit unnatural. So this is why I love this analogy for clawhammer banjo. It gets you operating straight into the instrument and straight out of the instrument on the upstroke. So now let's turn this guy over and see how that works in practice. I'm going to give you a couple different views here. This is called a double thumbing pattern. I'm just going to do a downstroke with the back of my striking nail on the first string and an upstroke with my thumb on the fifth string. We'll talk about nail stuff and striking in just a second, but I want you to see the knock activated from the fulcrum. So I'm going to go nice and slow, throw in, engage fifth string, and then out. We'll talk about that in detail in a second. Throw in, out. Add some speed to the banjo. More speed. More speed. And one more step up. Straight in, engage the fifth string, straight out. Okay, let's talk about striking nail. Somebody asked that on Patreon a couple days ago. I drew a diagram. I tried to get one of my daughters, who are really good artists, to draw this. They were like, "Dad, you're on your own." So I'm just going to apologize right now. This is terrible. I'm just going to darken it up a little bit. We're going to talk about fingernails and how and what part of the nail strikes the string. I'm just making this dark because I think this is really important, and it's very easily overlooked. Okay, ready for this? Ready for my art? Oh God, this is going to be terrible. William, I'll answer you in just a sec. This is not a toe. This is a fingernail. So if you were to hold your hand up like we're giving each other high five, and you look at your striking nail, I want you to think of your striking nail as a clock face, because that can help me talk you through where I strike on the nail. Notice the nail here is squarish. I get way better mileage out of a square trimmed striking nail than I do out of anything pointy, because I actually use more art for you. I use my 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock corner of my nail. If my nail is facing me like this and the clock is noon, I use that corner on the fifth string side of my nail to strike the strings. This is why I'm not an artist. But hopefully this gets your the idea across. Now, there are players, some world-class, amazing, wonderful players who play it on this corner. They rotate their hand open get a slightly, when I do that, it softens the tone just a little bit. But I don't play it on that side unless I want to get really quiet. Sometimes I'll use that for like a recording or something, but most of the time I'm in on the 10, 11 o'clock quarter, towards the fifth string. Just getting the corner of the string to tag that, just getting the corner of the nail to tag that string as I throw into the banjo. Remember, this is a throw, not a push. Don't push, don't open. Keep your hand nice and closed. A reasonable little bit amount of tension is good here. And I activate, throw, corner of the nail, plunge through the string to a target beyond, which happens to be the head on the fifth string. So again, throw, throw, throw. Let that hand kind of go through the strings and land on the head like a ton of bricks. And then we've got to talk about the fifth string, the upstroke, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Experiment with that. I'm going to put you on chat if you have questions. Look, this is what happens when you're trying to read a chat and talk about banjo at the same time. If you have questions, leave them. Let me answer them for you. Let's see. Hey, a banjo teacher in the audience. Hey, banjo boy. Glad to be of help. Let me scroll down. Yeah, that moving headstock, it's a super cool way to just instantly get some information about your students. I think of myself when I'm giving a lesson as a banjo detective. Tom Collins, banjo detective, because I'm looking to help people solve problems and I need clues, and sometimes the clues are super not obvious. Sometimes you really have to dig. That's one of my favorite ones. That's a big sign that something about the hold is not happening. Let's see. This is a first technique question. Get your technique questions in, guys. Now's a good time. Are you keeping the muscle behind the thumb off of the fifth string? William, I don't understand that question. Are you keeping the muscle behind the thumb? Oh, this is a really good question. I think I know what you're talking about, William. Are you talking about like this big hunk of meat here? This has come up in some lessons, some private lessons lately. So this is weird. For my hands, when I'm going slow, my thumb meat, we're going to call that's a technical word for this part of your hand. My thumb meat contacts the fifth string. And it's interesting because that really gets me pretty close to the head there. See that? I'm still got a slight bend in the wrist. And this gets us to a really important discussion. I think any musician wants, and that is neutral positions. It's the way you avoid injury. So, for example, if I back up here and I just let my arms are grotesquely long. Sorry about that. Kind of strange. They scrape on the ground when I walk. That's all right. Your arms and hands, when they're relaxed at your side, do that. When you put your arms down at your side, relax them with the tension. Go take a deep breath. And you pick them up without jacking them all up. You're going to find that they should be in these nice, neutral, gently curved shapes. Check this out. If I do that, relax, take a deep breath, hit the reset button, and then without screwing my arms up too much, pick them up and put them on the banjo in the right position. Look at the neutral shape. Neutral, neutral, neutral. Not this. Not this. This is so bad. I see this a lot. You don't want that. Guitarists do this a lot. Don't do that. Nice, neutral, slight bend in the wrist. Arm is not out like this, like some weird chicken. It's down. It's nice and close to the body. This arm is wrapped over. Neutral shape. thumb in, but there is air between the wrist. It's impossible to show you guys. There's air between the wrist and the banjo head, so even though my thumb may be fairly in line with that string, my wrist is, see, I can see you, hi. There's air between my wrist and the banjo head. I can look clear down and see the bridge. If your wrist is tied, look, this breaks our neutral shape rule, right? Because my wrist is now tied to the head. I see this a lot in beginners. They're operating like this. It looks like it's so hard. It looks like it's so difficult to play the banjo. To me, this is not an optimal way to do things. I'm open, neutral shape. So remember, I mentioned that holding the banjo and interacting with the banjo, it's a little bit different for everybody, but you all want the same ideas, right? The goal of your hold is to weld the instrument to your body so it's not a moving target. The goal of good mechanics is so that the playing of the instrument is absolutely super easy. It's effortless. You don't want anybody saying when you play the banjo, whoa, that dude makes it look really hard to play the banjo. No, you want somebody to say, wow, she makes it look like it's the easiest thing in the world. So that's the goal behind these mechanics. Ease, efficiency, comfort, these all flow from neutral shapes on the neck, neutral shapes on the banjo pot, not these crazy jacked up positions with the shoulders up and the wrist flat and the thing. You don't want that. You want ease, keep everything relatively neutral. Let's see. Ryan Harlan is in the audience. Oh, whoops. Wait. In palm reading, apparently that area is called... Thank you, Ryan, for setting us all straight. There will be palm reading later in the episode. But actually, Ryan says he's fast on the... Ryan is fast on the Google, so don't mess with Ryan. The Thanar Eminence, that's a good band name. But it would have to be like metal banjo. So if I start like a thrash metal banjo band, I'm gonna... it's at least the name of the first album. And Dustin, he's Googling the answers. Dustin? Googling. Ryan would Google. He's too fast for Google. They've had to invent an entire new search engine for Ryan called Google. Anyway. You know, Bob, I like this. I like this because this goes into the idea where you're looking for solutions to problems upstream. And I really like this because it's talking about the core, your core stability. And people may laugh about this, but it really helps if you're balanced and your core is stable. And it especially in the beginning helps you guys get around holding this weird object in your lap and interacting with it in a positive, efficient way. So I do think this idea of stabilizing yourself is really helpful in the beginning. Now, let me just banjo confessions. I feel like I need some like syrupy strings and some cursive banjo confessions. I don't play like this all the time. I like to sit. I got my little chair back there. I like to just kick back. I like to do this. I love to play like this. So here's the deal with all this stuff. These are really useful ways to get a hold of the beginning stages of banjo, but when you're into it and you can hold the banjo comfortably, you're going to find that a lot of these rules, you don't need them so much anymore. You can kind of let them go, and you're going to be able to really weld to the banjo in almost any position. Like here I am, my leg is crossed. This is my other favorite way to play the banjo. My banjo's kind of on my hip. I shove the banjo into my armpit. It's the armpit method of banjo playing. Jeez. And and I'm fine.
I like that.
Neck is parallel to the floor. It's fine, doesn't need to be up. So, this is all to say that in the beginning of your banjo journey, there are a lot of useful rules that you need to pay attention to. But once you start getting comfortable, the rules you can kind of slacken on a little bit as long as your playing is good and efficient and tuneful and musical, then you can let some of these ideas fall by the wayside. So I'm saying that not to confuse you, but so that you know that when you, in your banjo journey, you don't have to feel like you've got to sit in this proper way the whole time. That's not necessarily what banjo is about long term. It's just useful in the beginning. What do you think of that? Hopefully that helps. Keep firing your questions. I'm seeing them. Let's go back to the nail discussion. Rick, he needs a longer nail. Right now, I strike the nail, but then my fingertip hits the string immediately after. Rick, I see this a lot. My nail is not all that long. I can't show it to you because I'll go out of focus. It's, how long is it? It's, no, it's, gosh, a millimeter over the end of my pad of my finger, maybe? I don't know. I'm in America and we don't do metric system very well, so yeah, no, a couple millimeters. Millimeters are small, right? Luke can tell me. Millimeters are small, right? Yeah, so a couple of millimeters. It's just not very far. So that may have to do. One thing I noticed with a lot of players is in the beginning, their striking finger is too far out. You guys can see that. It's a little dark in the studio this evening. So that's going to put your pad more in line with the strings, and you probably tag that string on your way through. If you keep your nail parallel with the head and just hit it with the corner, you're going to sail right through without that pad having much of a connection with the string as you pass through the string. Thank you, Chris. Yes. So, yeah. 1/16 of an inch. Probably a 1/16 over. Sometimes I have it longer. Sometimes I break my nail just like everybody else when I'm doing it. Boy, dishes. I do dishes and then it just kills me. And banjo complaints, right? And I break my nails all the time. I do find when my nail gets short, I still pretty much can get the tone I like. It's not too bad. And again, that corner comes in handy. The corner is also stronger, so I feel like I get a much bolder tone when I'm using the corner of the nail. Anyway, I run my striking nail parallel to that head, not out and not tucked in. Parallel. So when I push through, when I strike through that first string and collide with the head, it's landing flat on that head. These angles are not helping you at all, are they? They're giving you some idea. Flat on that head. Let's scroll up. Oh, but Luke's getting into banjo confessions. Many do. Luke, it's okay. Chime in if you use a fake nail. Ryan's gone down the rabbit hole on the fake nail. Let's see. Dustin, I imagine your neck on your body being parallel to the floor like you had horrible posture. I imagine your neck on your body being... Oh gosh, I don't know what that means. Try again, Dustin. I'm confused. Dustin says again, I'm trying to develop a natural nail sound so I can develop skill in the banjo without sounding... Yeah. Natural is good, but I know a lot of players who play with fake nails and picks, and you would never know it. They sound like $1,000,000. So just because I use a natural nail doesn't mean that you have to. There are a lot of folks I teach who have all kinds of nail issues. Thin nails, whatever. Don't have nails, whatever. You can always come up with a great solution to work around that issue. Picks work really well for some people I've seen play. Fake nails work incredibly well for some players I've seen. So don't let nail struggles slow you down. Find a solution. Don't obsess over it too much. I know it's easy to go down the rabbit hole on this stuff. But you can also think back to banjo history. Just imagine people playing the banjo throughout history. A lot of those folks who made banjo famous and beautiful were also people who worked with their hands daily and probably could not keep or maintain a delicate little precious nail like us modern banjo players can, because they had to work with their hands, and so they were able to make do. So I'm a firm believer in pay attention to it, work through the details, work with your limitations and strengths. You can find a solution to make this work for you. All right, Sean is in the audience. Hey Sean, better late than never. I feel like this too, Lisa. If I let my nail get too long, it messes me up. I also bruise the nail bed if I let it get too long, because it messes with me. It puts too much pressure or something. It acts as a lever against my finger. I don't know. I get bruised, not visibly, but like it gets sore. So I have to keep my nail at a certain range. But I'm not super fussy about it either. I just sort of do it and it works. The hand cream I use let's see. I do moisturize. Didn't I just say I don't fuss over it too much? I really don't, but I do moisturize in the winter, man, because if I don't, this gets super brittle, and then it's another moving target. I'll wake up, I'll break it. You don't want moving targets. You want to try to keep your variables relatively similar day to day. It's true in the beginning. It's true now, especially if I want to record and get a consistent recording sound from day to day. I do use a product. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, but the name of the cream I use is called Waleda, W-A-L-E-D-A, Skin Food. And if Waleda would like to sponsor Banjo Quest, hi Waleda, I love you guys. They're amazing. I've discovered it through my family, who are all fastidious about skincare and know all the how to do it. So I do use that stuff. It's amazing, fantastic. Run out and get it. I use the light Waleda Skin Food. Awesome. It smells good too.
Why are you acting weird, huh?
Wow. Oh yeah. Lindsay from Quail Creek Banjos, which you should Google if you haven't checked out Lindsay's beautiful banjos. The longer he plays, the less important the nail is to an extent. That is exactly my experience. The longer I play, the less of a deal it is. In the beginning, it felt like it was everywhere. No worries, Dustin. I'm just making sure I get everybody's question in. I'll try to come back to that other one that you left, Dustin. Keep asking them. We've got 62 people in the audience, so I'm just trying to spread the love a little bit. This is a really good question. I use my middle nail for everything. Every downstroke I make on the instrument is exactly the same. do not use 2 nails. There are some players who alternate or use a different nail according to a string. I don't do that. And while I recognize that that is a technique, I encourage people to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Because clawhammer is a binary stroke. That means you throw in, you've got a throw and you've got a catch or an upstroke. You got a throw and a catch. It's all there is to it. There is no, to my mind, there is no advantage to alternating downstroke fingers because you're only ever downstroking once. So I see no advantage. In fact, if a student comes to me, I try to unwind that because I see for the most part, there are some exceptions. There are always some exceptions to this. There are world-class players who alternate fingers. They're amazingly wonderful players. But in the beginning, for me, it's just another variable you have to contend with. And I just advocate for simplicity in your strokes, simplicity in your mechanics, simplicity in the arrangements and the tabs and the tunes that you're playing. Simple, 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 until you get all the mechanics right, and then you can start teasing out the complexity. That's just my very biased opinion. Yes, this is a phenomenon, Rod. If you find yourself drooling while playing banjo, this is a heightened banjo state. Many people outside the banjo world will tell you if you drool and play the banjo, it's a bad thing. But to me, that is when you're onto it, man. So if you got the drool, you're playing, you're in the zone. It is the finest state a banjo player can reach. You guys are fun. I'm getting distracted by these lovely comments. Yes, I love Seinfeld. Paul, from Seville, Spain, where I plow a lonely clawhammer furrow. Paul, you are not alone. You are with us tonight. I'm with you. Clawhammer is this funny thing. Even in the States, I think a lot of my students will be playing for a little while in the beginning, and they'll be like, this is hard. This is hard to really get right. And my response always is, how many people do you know who play clawhammer banjo? And almost every one of those people who are just starting out on the instruments, even in the States, they say 0, nobody. So even here, us clawhammer players, we gotta stick together. We can feel a little bit lonely. So I'm with you, Paul, right now. Somewhere I read yes, I do. Guilty. I wear rubber gloves. I wear work gloves all the time when I'm outside working. I'm a prima donna. I am with my nails. I admit it, but it's for a good cause. And I go back to Lindsay's comment. Even though I am very protective of my nail in my daily running throughout my day, I can break a nail and still be fine. It's just, I think it's almost like superstition at this point. And Don says biotin helps. I have heard this helps, but your mileage may vary. Let's see. Aiken Ritchie is saying, slowly finding personal nail length sweet spot. Shout out to shortly after getting my banjo when I trim my nails like normal. Yeah. So this goes along with us in the theme that in the beginning, the nail feels like it's everything. In the intermediate to advanced stages of clawhammer playing, which you will achieve if you just keep working at it, it becomes less and less of a big deal. Paul is asking, how important do you feel the scooped neck is? In the beginning, Paul, I about it, these good time banjos are fantastic for learning on. They are really wonderful. I have taught people on good times for so long. They're fantastic. Deering changed the banjo game when they came out with the good time. Don't feel like you need to run out and scoop it. That said, if I'm buying a banjo new, it will have a scoop every time because of that bubbly, warm, rich tone that I get. It's like having two banjos in one. The further away I can get from that bridge, the warmer the tone gets. I've been slinging this banjo all around and it's unhappy, it's out of tune. Versus, do that again. So, scoop is super cool. If you ever upgrade your instrument in the future, get one. I love the scoop. I'll always have one. But I will say, to maximize your good time, getting as far away from that bridge as possible, like right up, like get your thumb so when you do your downstroke, it's just tagging that tension hoop just a little bit. This neck joint right here is like it's banjo heaven right there. Even though I play a lot over the scoop, right there you still can get an amazing tone. There's a harmonic node in that area. You get a rich tone there. So get as close to that as you can on your good time, and you should that will help you. Yeah, that's my thought on the scoop. I like the scoop. Yeah, okay, Sean's I think a lot of people are going to say, yep, that's me. Have to have it for my profession, have to have short nails for my profession, and everything else is a compromise to that. It's fine. The compromise can be beautiful. So I don't feel like you can't make something absolutely breathtaking with the instrument if you can't grow a real nail. Lots of folks can't, and you can make it work. Sean, that pick will feel more a part of you the longer you play. A lot of questions. Good. Mike, how many different tunings do you plan, and should we memorize? Okay. I think there are 3 big tunings for any beginning banjo player, and I think you should hit them all. G, standard G, sawmill, and double C. If you don't know what those are, Google them. G, beginning banjo player, and I think you should hit them all. 3 big tunings for any beginning banjo player. I think there are 3 big tunings for any beginning banjo player, and I think you should hit them all. G, standard G, sawmill, and double C. If you don't know what those are, Google them. And that'll lead you to the tuning, and just do like double C chord chart or sawmill chord chart or G standard banjo chord chart. You'll get the chord charts. It's really easy to find online. Those are the 3 tunings that I think are essential to a beginning banjo player. There's a lot to learn on this fretboard. Look at how many frets there are. There are a lot of frets, there are a lot of strings, there are a lot of different combinations you can make with notes. Don't worry about that stuff as a beginner. Your job as a beginner, 90% of your work, in my opinion, should be on your striking hand mechanics. For those lefties out there, I want to include you guys. Your striking hand mechanics are everything. Your ability to keep time. Those are the things that are more important than learning chords and all their inversions or scales or any of that stuff. That stuff is important, and it becomes increasingly important in your banjo journey as you spend more time with the instrument. But just your basic mechanics with your right hand you can make some incredible sounding tunes and arrangements with just a very basic understanding of what's going on up here. The amazing thing about clawhammer is that it has a lot of amazing qualities, but it doesn't take much fretting hand stuff, moves, to make incredibly beautiful music. It can be dead simple, left-handed wise. The right hand, if it's solid, if you're keeping good time, if your tone is good and your mechanics are efficient and smooth, you're in a good spot. Let this be the pursuit that you tackle a little bit later. That said, standard G, sawmill, double C, those three tunings are the ones you need to spend your time in. And there are lots of tunings. We do a bunch on Banjo Quest, some really obscure ones. They're worlds unto themselves. They're well worth pursuing. They can teach you a lot about music. They can open up tones and intervals and sounds, textures that you might not find in these other tunings. But don't worry about them in the beginning. Grab those three tunings, and that will be good for you for a long time. Wow, somebody is tuning in from Poland. Jacob is tuning in from Poland. Hey there, Jacob. Welcome. Oh, scrolling down. Ooh, yeah. Yes. Yes, that's a lovely thought for everybody out there, including you lonely clawhammer players who feel like you're the only one in the world. You're not, but we're rare. We're a rare breed. All right, I'm going to demo some things real quick. There are more questions here. We have 78 people, 78 lovely people out there. Thank you for joining us. Let me throw some things on the screen because there's some beginning clawhammer things that I want you guys to. I want to put on the screen for you. That was kind of a redundant way to put that, but that's okay. Look at this. This is fun. It's amazing what we can do with these live streams. I'm going to scoot myself over just a little bit. So, look at that. This is tablature. Tablature, although it is much maligned these days, is an amazing tool. Please, please use it. It is so useful. Not only is it a useful way to sort of get to communicate banjo ideas, but it is also a really useful way to visualize the eighth note grid. Remember I was talking about getting the right hand to do its thing and to be really, really good at that thing? Timing is such a big part of that. Timekeeping. It's sort of my crown jewel of musicianhood. Everything flows from that one crown jewel, timekeeping. And if you can have a way, convenient, easy way to visualize the grid that you're playing within, this eighth note grid, we'll talk about it in just a second, your playing is going to be cleaner, crisper, and more musically delicious. For lack of a better, I don't know. I guess it's getting near dinner time here. It's 5 o'clock. I'm getting hungry. Musically delicious. So, how to read tab? Well, tab is a physical representation of the strings on the banjo. If I start here, down below, I'm going to touch that string. That is your fifth string. This is a map of your banjo. That line at the bottom is your fifth string. That's the short string. Fourth. Third, second, and first. So this pattern is a first string, fifth string, first string, fifth string, first string, fifth string, first string, fifth string, say that 5 times fast, pattern of 8 notes. I'll play that for you now, I've already done it, but I'm going to do it again, starting there, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's all that is. Same time. Every downstroke gets a number, every thumb stroke gets an and.
Oh, I see.
It's a number. Every thumb stroke gets an and. 1
and 2 and
Why is it important to count?
and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay.
Well, that can crystallize the grid for you. If you know that every time a number is counted, downstroke, and you know that every and is counted means that you're doing an upstroke. It's a very convenient way and very neat way to think about this grid. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if.
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
You are playing with a metronome, and I know we had this question over on Patreon, so I just want to do that real quick. I'm not checking my email. I'm actually getting a metronome. I love this Time Trainer metronome for iPhone. If I set that at 100 beats per minute, 100 BPM, every click is a downstroke. It's a number, and every space between the click is an upstroke. So I'll play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Convenient way and very neat way to think about this grid. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you are playing with a metronome, and I know we had this question over on Patreon, so I just want to do that real quick. I'm not checking my email. I'm actually getting a metronome. I love this Time Trainer metronome for iPhone. If I set that at 100 beats per minute, 100 BPM. Every click is a downstroke. It's a number. And every space between the click is an upstroke. So I'll play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and every click is a downstroke. It's a number. And every space between the click is an upstroke. So I'll play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's for you, Eric. We'll be going into more depth. I know Eric wrote that question on Patreon. We'll be going into more depth in another beginner session. So let me play that whole line for you.
Hard. Fuck. It's hard. I don't know how you do it.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, without me counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. This pattern, it's all 8 notes. It's called a double thumbing pattern. It simply means a thumb is following.
good. Am I sweating right now? Oh my god. This is tough. Sorry. Ooh, I just got a flow state there. Okay. Here we go. hour 20. That's good. It's been 10 minutes yet? 6 minutes? Okay. 4 more minutes to go. gonna go as fast as I can with this.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Practice. That's what practice
That's a
sounds
lot.
like. It's a lot, isn't it?
Do you want to hear? I
Yeah.
got her. Practicing multiple times.
Yeah.
I can go faster too, but it's hard.
So if you get your, let me see, try.
Doing claw hammer. I'm learning claw hammer.
Oh, you learn claw hammer?
Mhm.
Oh, that's a different technique. I don't know how to do claw hammer.
What is my pinky doing? Why is it bending like that? I can't get a sturdy position.
Try and play it up here if you have a hard time.
So here, on the metronome, I just set it to 100. But this is very difficult for me. But each click is a downstroke,
Yep.
and in between is an upstroke.
Teague.
That's very difficult for me, though.
You're learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do it. It's
Yeah,
too
you're doing it
fast.
Right now. You're doing it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Am I?
You're actually going too fast. There you go. Put your hand back a little further. You're getting too fast. Listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? Listen to metronome. You're starting to go faster. Listen. So say, count it out loud. Look. 1.
1 and 2 and.
3.
But you're supposed
4.
to say and.
You don't have to. Just listen to 1. 1,
2, 3, 4.
No, so 1,
2,
2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your thumb is the numbers, and this is and. 1. Go ahead. 1.
Well, where it clicks here is the upstroke.
okay.
Or the downstroke, sorry. Downstroke, my bad.
Okay. So
Which is fingers, right?
right. So watch me. Here's
So
your
it would
counting.
be-
Watch. You use the 1 as your thumb. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and
what he's saying is where it's not clicking, like
Yeah.
in between the clicks, that's the upstrokes. So the only time when it clicks is the downstrokes.
Oh, okay, so that you can do that.
Which is way more difficult.
No, not at all.
In my opinion.
Watch. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
How do you like keep track of that?
3 and 4 and 1. Count.
It's so fast.
Your kick should be coming here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You're actually going faster than that. When you start going faster. So listen. You have to listen to this at the same time you're doing that, because what's happening is you're actually picking up speed. You're going faster than you need to. Count it.
Maybe I should set it at a slower pace, like here.
No, you're going too fast. You're not going too slow. You're going too fast. Yeah, go to 100. Count it. Just forget the banjo from it. Just count it.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4
Keep doing it, Ron.
and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3.
Go. Now start bringing your hands into it.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
1 is your day. 1 is your thumb.
1 and 2 and
1 is your thumb. Start with
1 and 2.
Start with your thumb.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2.
If you don't play, you're playing that a little louder than you need to, because you can't hear this.
Do?
Gotta wind it. Gotta wind it, sweetie.
Ow, my ass. Oh my, I've been sitting in this chair so long, my ass hurts.
This is practice. This is what it sounds like, kiddo. This is how you become an expert.
I kind of like it, though.
I love it. It's meditative. I love to practice.
I'm recording myself for an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
I might upload this to YouTube and just title it, practicing banjo for 3 hours. And you're in the video now.
Hi.
Say hi to
So
YouTube.
listen to that at the same time.
Good night, you guys. Ziggy, I'm missing
Night.
your night,
I'm
honey.
saying it to
Love you. You're in my YouTube video, mama. Say hi to YouTube.
Oh, I don't want to be on the camera.
Okay, I love
I
you.
love you too.
Okay.
Can you
Dude, I'm
read
really
me?
proud of you for practicing, kid.
Good night, I love you.
Love you.
I
That's
don't
what you
think
do
we
to
can have
become
the
an expert.
banjo now.
Really?
Give me kisses.
Because you're sleeping, sweetie.
Well, I gotta finish my 3-hour goal, though.
Why do you put a pin in and pick it up in the morning and finish the rest of the morning? Okay, it's a little late. Yeah.
Listen to play
You
really
should do
quiet.
your free right now.
No,
it's
never
not
mind.
a quiet instrument.
It's not.
Honey, you don't hear it.
I'm going to sleep. That's why.
I'm very proud of you, sweetie.
Okay,
Love
wait.
you guys.
Wait, let me give you your Valerian, honey.
Oh, please do.
Bottom Valerian.
Do I sound better on the banjo than I did when I was just like fucking around?
1,000%. You do that for a week. Do that for a week and see. You'll see. You won't even.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm really proud.
I'm
I
rebranding.
think I'm learning, like, I want to learn to claw hammer.
Yeah, climbers are difficult, but you know what? There's been a lot of people that
Good
play.
night, guys. Good night. Night, Dad. I'm nauseous. I don't want anything to do right now. I'm doing experiments. No, I did the GABA. I'm feeling really nice right now.
That'd be safe tomorrow, okay? Cool.
Good night. Good night.
Love you guys, good night. Dad, be safe tomorrow, okay? No more. My head's What's up? Banjo, 3 hours. Still continuing. Just had to go to bed, so there's why there's that cut. But this is the first thing I'm doing when I'm waking up. More banjo. Let's do this. Let's kiss this chicken. Okay.
Is following every downstroke. The thumb stroke is following every single downstroke.
Gotta practice that more. So, we got this down. Okay, so try that. Let's try it out. It's hard. It's hard, okay. Oh, I need the footstool. Where did it go? Oh, where is that? Oh, it's right. Okay. Here we go. Let's try it all together now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So you can go fast. Okay, now we're gonna practice 10 minutes of the 4 section, I guess. Yeah, let's go. Wait, no, it's. That's easy. Just my hair. Yes. If you guys have actually made it this far in the video, like all the way through without skipping, type Banjo W in the comments below. I doubt you're actually watching this for 3 hours, but if you are, comment Banjo W in the comments. finger's gonna fall off. Plugging it for so long. I'm gonna tilt the camera down so you can see me. BRB.
gonna have to wrap up fairly soon. So get your questions in.
My audio wasn't on for a little bit. Sorry about that, guys.
I'm gonna do these more. We have 76 people. What if we?
All right, now I'm feeling inclined to show you guys what I learned because my audio was off. So let me just show you. You can hear anything. Fuck. I'm gonna do it with the metronome. Here we go. Totally paying attention to the metronome there. I was in sync with it pretty well.
This once a month, sort of a beginner's live stream corner. I was thinking that if we had a decent turnout, we could maybe do this regularly, because I think it's important to answer questions and get you guys some help on this stuff. I'm just scrolling. Yes, exactly. Missing the open string, showing first fret, but not. I don't know that. I'm not sure about that. You missing the open string. No, I'm in G tuning. I don't know if that helps you. Ha! For those of you who don't know, Tony is a historian and scholar of the banjo. So that is incredible. I didn't know. So that was called thimble playing. Entertainer used banjo thimbles. Tony, were they round or did they have an edge? Tony goes on to say, Joe Hooks makes... Oh, there we go. Awesome. Tony, that's amazing. What the heck? I had no idea. Look that up, folks. I'm just reading chat, guys. You are so welcome, Rod. I'm so happy that this helps. These little things, man, they are so easy to overlook, and you don't find them in books. It's hard to suss this stuff out. Clawhammer's idiosyncratic for so many reasons, and these little details can really help you. I'm so helpful. I am so thankful that you said that. I'm glad it's helpful. Right, everybody is in. Or not everybody. Some of you are interested in a repeating beginners workshop. Awesome. I'm going to make that happen. Everybody thinks that's a good idea, or yeah, beginner roundup. I know John. John is a fellow motorcycle enthusiast. He has many years on me in riding. I'm a noob rider compared to John. We have together found many, many commonalities between motorcycling and banjoing, and we will discuss them in future episodes. I'm sure they will come up because I cannot escape them. Okay, this is good because this segues into stuff that I've got on the fire, or irons in the fire, that some of you may be interested in. I am leading a boot camp. My next boot camp starts on Monday. The Infinite Waltz starts on Monday.
Hey, stop. Oh, I'm sorry.
It The first one will be broadcast live. The schedule will be going live later this evening, I think, on Patreon. It's mostly a paid thing, so it's one of the perks of being one of my subscribers at the Captain $5 level a month and over on Patreon. This workshop, which I failed to mention in the beginning like an idiot, because I was so distracted, easily distracted. This workshop is simply not possible if it weren't for my amazing community of patrons over on Banjo Quest. They keep the lights on. I would not be able to do this. I would have to just do private lessons. They enable things like this, free workshops that will remain free. If you want to support what I do, if you want to join them and the amazing community that we've created, I'm just going to leave this on there, patreon.com. It is awesome, well worth it, and a very small amount of my material gets released these days to YouTube. You guys just see a very small portion of it. So if you want more multiple videos a week, tablature, including tablature for tonight, though that's free, go to Patreon and check it out. It is well worth it, I think. And I thank my patrons. I couldn't do this without them. They are amazing folks who love this stuff. Keep me going. Just catching up on chat. Dustin, quickly, Dustin, type your question again. Type your question really as clear as possible in the chat so I don't have to scroll and find you again, and I'll try to answer it right now. We're going to close out in the next 5 minutes. Cool. Yeah, these banjo thimbles. I'm gotta look these up. This is amazing. Okay, yeah, so the second string. This is where stuff gets a little wild on the banjo, right? Because we can't sail through like we can on the first string. So instead, and this will be a topic for next time, I'm going to be doing these once a month. So the other thing you can do, if you don't want to do the Patreon thing, I totally get it. If you just subscribe to my YouTube channel, just do that. It's totally free. You'll be alerted, and my channel will get a little bump. So you can always do that if that would be easier for you. We're going to be talking about inner strings next time. The quick of it is you hit that second string, you sail through the second string, and you let the first string kind of catch your motion. Don't go past the first string. So you strike the second string, impact the first, and then you perform your upstroke. Inner strings are really tricky. You'll get confidence on the first string, and then you'll try the inner strings, and you'll be like, oh man, this is so much harder than I thought. It's all possible. You just have to think your way through it, take your time, use the basic principles that you're using on the first string, apply them to the inner strings, and maybe attend my next free live stream and we can get you squared away. I've got a regularly, please, will do. Oh, I am in. Someday. I would love that. You know, I took 7 years of Russian in high school and then in college. I'm terrible with languages. I find Russian, though, to be one of the most beautiful on the planet. I don't mind saying that. Y'all have a lovely, lovely language. I would love to visit Russia someday. Someday I will, and I'll bring my banjo. Yeah, just whatever. I also have, I also sell t-shirts for banjos, and there's this one, and there's that one. If you guys want to, I know I sound like a used car salesman, but I do this for a living, so I get to. You could get t-shirts, the most amazing banjo t-shirts, I think. You can get them at teespring.com/banjoquest. Something like that. What is my store? I should organize this, but I didn't. I always forget to. Thank you for the plug. I appreciate it, Sean. What are your current regarding pot size? Oh gosh. I love any size pot. This is a 12-inch. 12-inch pots are bassy and they're good on the low end. 11-inch pots are focused and they're crystalline in their delivery of tone. They're also comfortable according to your body type. You may find that a smaller pot just suits your body size better. I don't care these days. I don't care much about pot size. I used to get hung up on that. I don't think about it much. Banjo either sounds good or it needs tweaks, and I go from there. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Yes, Susan. I just did a segment for Patreon called Blueprints of Clawhammer Banjo. They're organized by tags at the top of the screen. If you click on that, that'll take you to all the blueprints, and that will be super. That'll be super helpful in the beginning. The boot camp starts on Monday. We start very, very slow on the first day, and we go through it. And all week we have an hour session every day live for a week, 7 days straight of hardcore mechanic workout. It's in 3/4. That's why it's called the Infinite Waltz. All that information is on Patreon if you want to find out more about that. You guys are awesome. Awesome, Luke. I can't wait to see you at the Infinite Waltz next week. And yes, Banjo Blitz, it's all free. Do a search for Banjo Blitz. There are 52 lessons for free that take you from the very beginning of Clawhammer. At this point, they look a little aged because I didn't have the technical know-how to make it look at least reasonably nice like it does tonight. So, yeah, the audio is also not as good as it is these days, but they still work. And I'm working on putting those into a book. So, because I like the idea of being able to learn and work on banjo outside of looking at a screen. So, I had started it a while ago, but I'm hoping.
So my timer went off. It's been officially 3 hours of learning banjo. Although I do want to finish this live stream video, so I'm going to do that.
Hopefully finishing it by the spring, and that'll be all announced through YouTube and Patreon. Okay, so let's help Dustin. Dustin is currently stuck sounding like I'm following the first Clawhammer lesson. Okay, yep, I see this a lot, Dustin. You are not alone. And Dustin's second question, I want to move past that tight and beginner sound to sounding more. I'm sure it's mostly technique I need to work on, something you would likely go over in a private lesson. Yes, I do have a waiting list for private lessons, so if you want to get on that waiting list, you're going to have to email me or contact me through YouTube and get on the waiting list. It'll be a bit. But there's plenty of information, and I do a lot of this through Patreon. That's a way for folks to get access to me more directly. And, if you're on Patreon and you ping me, it's a good topic for a live stream, or it may end up being the subject of an entire video. I think in the beginning, the beginner's biggest task is translating this to inner strings and learning a tune all with the double thumb pattern. Don't worry about drop thumb, don't worry about that stuff, keep it simple. Look, one of the things I notice with beginners over and over is they're working from arrangements that are way too difficult. Keep it simple. You can get a lot of amazing sounds, and not beginner sounds, like gorgeous sounds, from a simple double thumbing technique. Nice and easy. Keep it simple. Keep it all double thumb. There were a couple drop thumbs in there. Keep it with double thumbs and work on getting your inner strings to sound like your outer string. That translation is so difficult in the beginning. Look, you're not alone, Dustin. Clawhammer is a bit of a steep climb in the very beginning. I know a lot of these folks in the audience. I've seen them play. Some of the folks in the audience tonight are learning, they're beginning. Some of these folks are super advanced, amazing players in the audience tonight. They can, all of them, underscore this idea that those first few months of climb or wrestling with these techniques, it's super tricky. Be determined, keep practicing, and you will get it. You will get it. Let's see. Yes, that is, okay, there is a fretless boot camp. I had to bump that to January. It's in the very beginning of January, probably the first few days of January is when we're going to start. I had to bump it because this fall got incredibly busy with fiddle hell and a bunch of other things that I had on my plate. So next week's boot camp is in 3-4, and then January, it's just a month away if you think about it, we'll be doing a fretless boot camp, especially geared for fretless players. I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's mostly written, which I'm really excited about too. I just have to work out a few bugs in the last line, and then we'll be good to go. When will boot camp start? On Monday. I'm going to post that schedule tonight on Patreon, just to give you guys a heads up. We're starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday for the start of boot camp. That will be live streamed to the public. So if you want a taste of boot camp, you guys out there in the audience, if you want a taste of boot camp, it will be streamed from my channel for everybody. And then the rest of boot camp is for paid subscribers. So you can get a little taste. I'll be posting the schedule soon. I'm really excited for it. It's really going to be fun in 3-4. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. These injuries can be tough. Can be tough. All right. Yes. Quickly, this is a question I'm going to end on. Thank you guys for sticking with me till the bitter end. Double thumbing is simply doing a downstroke and doing an upstroke on the 5th string. So that thumb stays on the 5th string after every downstroke. Drop thumb is different, but rhythmically identical, just to confuse you. Drop thumb is simply dropping the thumb down to a string that isn't the 5th string. But if you'll notice, it's rhythmically the same. So if I play you a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and pattern, and then play a drop thumb pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, they're both 8-note patterns. It's just that with the drop thumb, I'm dropping my thumb to an inner string. I think for beginners, your best bet is to stay on double thumbing, get that working, get the throw working really well, then introduce the drop thumb. I usually introduce the drop thumb pretty darn early for most of my students. I wouldn't wait on it. Don't let it be a spooky technique that's going to freak you out. I thought it was hard at first because I heard a bunch of interviews with famous players who said it was really hard, so I avoided it like the plague. Finally tried to do it, and it was not that hard. So don't avoid drop thumb, but in the beginning, I'm a huge advocate of just make it simple for yourself. Keep it simple, master those basics, and recognize that you can play amazing music, beautiful music with just a double thumbing pattern. As long as the arrangement is good, as long as your mechanics are sound and you're keeping good time, there's nothing, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Clawhammer banjo is so beautiful that you can just kind of rely on it like a steadfast oak tree to make your music beautiful. Thank you, Eric. I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to have you in the crew. All right, guys, that does it for me. I'm gonna go have some dinner, and then I'll probably play some more banjo later this evening. Doesn't get old. It just doesn't get old. All right, and look on YouTube. Subscribe below if you haven't. That's free. And then you'll be alerted to when, ring the little bell, the bell icon. Isn't that what all the YouTubers tell people to do? Ring that little bell icon, touch the bell thing down below. That'll alert you to when I have videos coming up. I'm going to do this since there were so many of you guys and you're so engaged and interested. This was super fun. I'm going to keep doing these little beginner corners, and we'll work on inner strings next time. We'll also talk about the thumb stroke. It's a very overlooked part of climber. There isn't much written about it, and it's 50% of what you do, so it makes sense that you'd want it to be really good. I'll tell you my secrets of getting good thumb strokes, upstrokes, and yeah, that's it. That's it. So nice to see you guys. Bye, guys. From around the world, it's so nice to hear from folks around the world who are playing climber. I am going to fade out, and then I'll stay and chat for just a few minutes, and then I'll end the stream. Thank you. Bye.
Guys, I did it. Woo! 3-hour banjo challenge. I'm probably gonna do this. Well, I definitely am going to do this again. But thank you guys for watching. If you've genuinely watched it all the way through all 3 hours, you know what to type. It's in the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.